professional.
All right, it's 7 o'clock, so Happy New Year to everybody that is tuned in and watching us. It is the 5th of January, 2021. We're going to call the Clayton City Council meeting to order. And once again, Happy New Year, and thanks for joining us. We're going to start with our beautiful bean footage. So roll the video.
All righty.
Due to COVID-19, this meeting will be conducted as a Zoom webinar pursuant to the provisions of the Governor's Executive Order N-2920, which suspends certain requirements of the Brown Act. This meeting is being webcast on the City of Clayton's website. The mayor will call upon its council, presenters, staff, and other speakers by name and ask that they speak clearly and state their name before giving comments or remarks. Persons participating via webcast and Zoom with their cameras enabled are reminded that their activities are visible to viewers. Members of the public participating by Zoom wishing to speak should use the raise hand feature or dial *9 and the mayor will call upon them at the appropriate time. Telephone attendees will be called upon by the last 4 digits of their phone number. It is requested that public speakers state their name, but providing such information is voluntary. Written public comments received by Clayton City Clerk by 5 p.m. today will be entered into the record, but will not be read out loud. If authors of the written correspondence would like to speak, they are free to do so and should raise their hand, and the mayor will call upon them at the appropriate time. A roll call vote will be taken for all action items. The chat feature is not active. In order to get the full Zoom experience, please make sure your application is up to date.
Okay, it looks like something cut out there. Can you hear me now? Okay, yes. Sorry. I don't know what happened. It just cut out and said post attendee. I thought I'd have to log back in. So I'm not getting the full Zoom experience. Janet, will you call the roll, please? You're on mute.
Okay, here we go. Councilmember Diaz.
Present.
Councilmember Tillman.
Here.
Councilmember Juan. Councilmember Juan, you're on mute.
Yep, I'm here.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Cloven.
I'm here.
And Mayor Wolf.
I'm here.
Thank you.
Now we're going to go to the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Councilmember Diaz.
Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilmember Diaz. And now we're going to item number 3, which is a consent calendar. Does anybody have anything they want to pull from the consent calendar? No?
Move approval.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second here. Second.
Oh, second by Cloven. So we got a first by Diaz, a second by Cloven. And Janet?
Councilmember Diaz.
Yes.
Councilmember Tillman.
Yes.
Councilmember Juan.
Actually, when I look at this, I had thought that the updated version was posted on the agenda, but I see that it hasn't been. So we're voting on the approved. Yeah, we're voting on that one, right?
Correct.
Yes.
And you will update the minutes as they're posted on the agenda?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I will vote yes as to those amended minutes.
Vice Mayor Cloven
Yes.
and Mayor Wolf.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Item 4, we have no presentations or recognitions tonight, so we're moving on to our reports, starting with the Planning Commission meeting report of December 22nd, 2020. Do we have a report?
It should be AJ Chipro. He's raised his hand, and if Janet can move him in, then AJ, you'll be able to turn on your video if you'd like as well once you are in the room as a panelist.
AJ disappeared.
I got him.
We've retrieved him. We've retrieved him from the transporter. You're on mute, AJ. Happy New Year.
There we go. All right. Happy New Year, council members and staff. And yes, we do disappear when you move us over there for a second. On December 22nd, the Planning Commission met for the final time in 2020, and we voted to keep the public hearing open for the Oak Creek Canyon residential development. So that will continue at a later date. And Commissioner Gavidia did declare a conflict of interest, and he has recused himself from participating in that hearing. So that is it from the Planning Commission. Does anybody have any questions? Or if not,
no questions.
Enjoy your night.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Take care.
Excuse me. No Trails and Landscape Committee meeting was held. City manager and staff reports.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Happy New Year to everyone. First of all, it seems like the new year has started in with no time to waste. So I think 2021 is going to continue to be a busy year for us. Just briefly, as we get started, the only thing really for me to report is that unfortunately we are still in the most restrictive lockdown according to the state regional stay-at-home order. Our order in this region is the 3 weeks is up on January 7th. We expect to have a briefing from the County Public Health Office on the 7th and should know then by the end of that day whether we will continue to be in that same vein. So our City Hall is physically closed but virtually open all of this week. Parks are still open as long as folks are abiding by the masking and physically distancing requirements, but it's good to get outside and get a little bit of fresh air since we're all going a little bit nuts, I think, from being in the more restrictive lockdown. So I would expect that we will be posting more information toward the end of the week about City Hall physical availability as well as any other operational issues. And that is it for me for this evening.
Thank you, Raina. And just to clarify with regard to the shutdown order that'll come on Thursday, you said, will that then be for another week and they'll review it again on the next Thursday?
My understanding is that with the initial orders, it is the 3 weeks and then it is on a week-to-week basis. If we hear differently from County Health when we are briefed by them on Thursday, I will let everyone know. But at this point, I would frankly expect us to be under those more restrictive requirements for another week.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody have any questions? No? Okay, we'll move on then. Thank you, Raina. And City Council reports. Let's start with Councilmember Tillman.
Thank you, Mayor Wolf. I was pretty quiet during the holidays, just a few meetings that I had. On that as a liaison.
Aren't they fun?
I'm sorry?
Aren't they fun, that group?
I haven't met them yet. I'm going to meet the board at the end of the month. I was just corresponding with the two co-chairs. I also met with some residents regarding various issues, some of which I'll respond on later in the meeting. I met with some neighboring city council members from other cities, local cities. I also participated in 2 local clothing drives and volunteered at a local food bank. I was interviewed by a local high school newspaper regarding city politics. And I've met with the city manager a couple of times, as well as with the chief of police, Elise Warren. Councilmember Diaz and I met with her today as part of the Public Safety Ad Hoc Committee. And we wanted to report that she'll be giving a full report to the council on the 19th during that meeting. That's about it.
Thank you. All right, we'll go around the horn. Vice Mayor Cloven.
Greetings. Similarly, it was nice and quiet this last 2 weeks. I'm sure we're getting prepared for the storm that's going to come up the rest of the year. But I had some great conversations with our city staff. One of the things I reached out to was Laura Hoffmeister to help me get an understanding of the Trails and Landscape Committee. I love the initials TLC. It's Tender Loving Care as well, which is appropriate for our city. As a new council member and a former planning commissioner, I really don't know much about the committee, and it didn't really meet much last year. Matter of fact, it didn't meet at all, and there hasn't been a report since 2018. So, and I also understand that it's the Trails and Landscape Committee is supposed to meet quarterly and review budgets relative to the parcel tax and how we use those funds for reviewing roads, trails, and open spaces. So I have sent an email out to all the committee members, introducing myself and telling them together we will figure out how to run this committee and do what we're supposed to in service of the community. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you.
If I could add on the Trails and Landscaping Committee, we will be posting for vacancies on that committee as well as a reappointment request. So just so you know that will be coming forward as well, so that you've got a full slate.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Councilmember Diaz.
Thank you. It was, I would say, moderately quiet, although I did have some meetings that I want to report on in a little bit. But first, had my first in-depth meeting with the new city manager, and went over several issues that were still require some addressment probably in the future, but basically there were a few items that were left over from last quarter. And attended the public safety staff briefing today, and it was extremely informative and productive, and I want to compliment the chief on the report that she will be giving to the full city council on the Key Lock Way matter, as well as the Keller Ridge issues that are facing that segment of the city. I have had several meetings with a number of our citizens, and I don't want to belabor this, but basically the issues related to some of the activities and I would guess rallies, protests, and so forth that took place towards the end of last year. And first of all, let me just say I'm extremely supportive, a believer in the First Amendment, the right of citizens of free speech and the gathering freedoms are allowed in that. And I know that there was an issue where a number of citizens that got together and exercised their First Amendment rights relative to a protest. And I just want to say this, that under this current condition of COVID, they felt, because I did some investigation of this, they felt that they had a place to express their concerns, and City Hall's closed, nobody there. Hoyer Hall were not meeting there. So they got down to the point, well, what do we do? And this is, by the way, I talked to a number of them. What do we do? And so they opted to conduct their rally in a very legal manner in front of our fellow council members' residences. It was peaceful. It was a small number. They had initially talked to about 25 people, and they whittled that down to 8 who actually participated. And I think even the police did show up. However, no official report was made because simply it was legal and everything went peacefully. But so I guess under these conditions that we are currently in, and probably will extend through at least the first quarter of this year, at least what I've been able to see, is that hopefully these kinds of things will not continue to occur. But it was an exercise of their First Amendment constitutional rights of peaceful assembly and freedom of speech. And so I think that was the positive portion of it. It may not have been well received by some members of the community, but I did want to say and felt compelled to at least address it. And so I am in particular forgot to start my little report out by saying, first of all, I wish everybody in the community a very happy and healthy and safe new year. And quite frankly, I am really positive and looking forward to a very productive and new year. And hopefully we'll be able to return to some normalcy that we enjoyed at the beginning of last year. Thank you.
Thank you. Certainly I couldn't agree more with that. All right. And then Councilmember Juan.
Yeah, no report from me.
And I have no real report. I had some emails and things back and forth with constituents. Also had meetings with our city manager. So that is my report. Okay, so now we're going to move on to public comment on non-agenda items. I'm going to let you guys handle the hands that are raised out there. So let me know if someone would like to speak and who they are, and we can go from there. This is on non-agenda items, folks.
Mayor Wolf, I have Jenny Yee.
Hello, Jenny. We'll wait for her to come on. Excuse me. Jenny, you're on mute.
Hello. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Well, now I am I'm a citizen that is really very concerned about the city council meeting now. So I guess it's a good thing, or maybe it's not a good thing. So what I wanted to say is that I checked on the agenda on the last time. The city's clerk said the comment about the 2 ordinance for cannabis is wrong. And then this is to respond to the city attorney. You say it's in compliance with the state law. It's not. Current city ordinance in Clayton only do not allow outdoor cannabis cultivation, only indoor. So with that say, we can only grow non-organic cannabis indoor instead of outdoor, but state law doesn't say anything quite like that. Second of all, the other ordinance says that no citizen in Clayton is allowed to store any cannabis products in their home. So where do we store the products? So these 2 ordinances need to be changed. It's not matching the state law. And the last thing is, I would like to address this issue with the city manager. I know she's new, and I hope that, I don't know who is managing the Facebook for City of Clayton, but I would really appreciate that City of Clayton stop posting any comment about, oh, let's look at the police officer. They are such a hero. They protect our community. I'm sorry, I have a totally different view. They are not heroes. They are paid to do their job, just like anybody else. So if you don't have anything else better to post, maybe you don't have to post anything. But that kind of posting is a little bit disgusting to me. So I think that's it.
All right. Thank you, Jenny. Who do we have next? Janet? By the way, just so you know, there's a 3-minute timer. You'll see it in the corner. I meant to mention that earlier. Yes, Jen.
Mayor Wolf, at this time, I don't have any other hands raised.
Okay. Going once, going twice. Anybody? Okay. All right. So we're going to close the public comment and move on to public hearings. We have none. And now we're moving to action items, item 8 on the agenda. A is the City Council request to discuss drafting a letter to the California State Department of Housing and Community Development, also known as HCD, and to the Association of Bay Area Governments, which is ABAG, regarding the allocation of 441,000 units plus. And this is our Community Development Director, Matthew. You're going to take this to start.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and City Council. Yes, the item before you was a request made by a City Council person to bring forward at a future agenda, as a future agenda item, which has been brought forward. Included in your packet were the 2 studies and the draft letter that was requested to be under consideration and discussion by the City Council. It is recommended by staff that the City Council receive the information, take public input, and provide direction to staff. Thank you.
So now, where do we go from here, Raina? Do we have Jeff take this since he's or do we want to go to public comment?
I would leave that up to Council Member Juan. You do have one hand raised, but since this was requested, and the hand is gone, so I would turn it over to Council Member Juan.
Then let's turn it over to Council Member Juan. Since you brought this forward, it's your ball game.
Sure. So I recently joined a group of local electeds concerned with local control. This was a item that they had asked that the various members bring before their city councils to send in support of looking at the total RENA allocation. We're a little bit, as you guys know, we're a little bit behind on process versus Southern California. They've already taken steps to do something similar. I believe I sent an email to each of you with, actually, I'd have to, now my memory's a little foggy after all the New Year's stuff, but the Southern California group has already gotten together, and I think 30 plus of their mayors had already signed a similar letter. And so the group was organizing the Northern California region to also lobby both HCD and our regional body, ABAG, in regard to the total housing allocation. Typically, when you do an appeal, it shuffles the deck but doesn't change the total. And so based on information presented here, there's evidence to suggest that the total number needs to be looked at rather than just shifting between jurisdictions. I drafted a letter. This was taken as a template, but I updated various components to, it was a little long on the first one, so I thought a shorter letter would be a little better. But I tried to capture the spirit of what was being discussed, and there's also included attachments of the studies included. If the main point of contention are twofold. Essentially, the allocation figure or the certain methodology had some fundamental flaws. They conflated vacancy rates between owner-occupied and non-owner-occupied, which makes not a lot of sense given the context. And then there was overcrowding and cost burdening was assumed to not be already built into the figure. So that resulted in a net over allocation of something like 941,000 units statewide. And so that's problematic. And that's all detailed in the attachment. I will take the materials as read. And then the other one, the other one was just the total estimate for housing units. You know, the state legislature likes to bandy around the figure of 3.5 million units needed over some time period, but according to Freddie Mac, you know, our number is closer to 850,000. It's pretty wildly different from what has been pushed. You know, the response to this evidence has largely been, well, it doesn't really matter what number we need, we just need a lot. And I think that's pretty specious reasoning. So this letter is supposed to just be one data point, one message to be sent. I think it'd be great if we could do this both to HCD, AVAG, as well as to the Contra Costa Mayor's Conference, just to put our position on record. And the information's here if you guys care to take a look. So, comments welcome.
Thank you. And I think we have a hand raised. I thought I saw. So let's go to the public comment, then we'll bring it back.
Can we finish with the council? Can we finish with the council first before you go to public comment, which is usual protocol? Council.
Well, I asked Raina where we could go, and she said we could look at the public comment. If you got a question, go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, no. But the protocol has been over the past 20 years.
Okay.
Council, public comment, and then you go back to the council. All right. I received an email which had an attachment to it from a news group, and I'm happy to share this with all the council members. But maybe Jeff is aware of it, but a group of cities from Southern California have put together an effort, and they have been moderately successful in reallocating some of these numbers that Jeff was mentioning. And in fact, several cities, and although maybe because they have a lot of money, but Beverly Hills was one of them, was able to eliminate their obligation under this. It appears that it can be successful to at least address the fundamental issues that Jeff mentioned, and hopefully we can get the powers at the housing and community development area to look into this. I also suggest that ABAG has had a number of issues brought to their attention, and this may be why the Contra Costa mayors have brought about some structural change and representation change to that body. Several of the mayors in the past mayors conference have expressed their concerns about the fact that it appeared to them, at least, that ABAG was not listening to the mayors that appointed those people to represent them at ABAG. And so this is an issue that's going to be really a hotbed issue. And I think if there's some way that we can make sure that we are able to maintain our own local control and not continue to have the state of California and the various entities there that would like to run our city as opposed to letting our elected officials run our city. So I would encourage us to really be very supportive of that effort. And as soon as I can get a complete copy of this activity that's taking place in Southern California, maybe Jeff has it, I will forward it to him and the rest of the council. Thank you.
Anybody else on the council have questions? Councilmember Tillman, you're on mute. Oh, there you go.
Hi, yep. I have a couple of questions. To Councilmember Juan, how many other groups of local electeds are there in our area? that you're a part of? I'm just curious how many other cities are joining in to sign this type of letter.
Well, the current ask is that each council member push or advance it through their own cities first, and then they'll gather that information together. They're investigating whether where the most effective use of their efforts are. It could be at the ABAG level, at the HCD level, and perhaps pursuing litigation at the based on the Administrative Procedures Act. So I think there's a number of overlapping efforts, but there's representatives from, well, I don't know. I didn't do an inventory of the attendees, but there's several cities around. I was invited by a council member from Lafayette, and I think there was people joining from all over the state. Essentially, there was the effort that was led by Southern California was I forgot her name. I wrote it down somewhere. She had she was organizing the main thing because she had done it in Southern California, and then is asking us to help as a statewide effort. And really, the reason why they were doing that was it was really important to not simply go through the regular appeal process. The regular appeal process, it's like three-card Monte. We appeal, someone else appeals, and the total number never changes, but they just move it around from place to place. And if your denominator is wrong, it doesn't really matter where you're moving it because you're based on faulty information. And based on the evidence, it's pretty clear that there's some fundamental errors in the methodology. So I don't have a complete list. The group is called CALE, C-A-L-E. They're California Alliance of Local Electeds. They have a website. They're pretty new, so it's not very robust, but they have some nice pictures.
Okay. Do you know or have you attended any of the ABAG office hours that they have regarding these numbers? I know that they've had them out throughout the fall. I was on their website today. They had a webinar that I believe ended today. I don't know how many of them they had. And then they have office hours where you can go on and ask them questions, I guess, starting again this Thursday through next Friday, I believe, through the 15th. Did Callie mention attending any of those to try to get the... No,
I think that's, well, in my view, I don't think that's that effective. I mean, I think that those are mostly designed for members of the public, and, as council members and cities and other groups have a little bit more sway with direct contact rather than attending like the general office hours. ABAG isn't typically responsive to anyone, so
okay,
kind of.
Okay, I was just.
I read their material. Yeah, I read their materials, and their published materials is that's their official position. So I don't really find a lot of value in their off-the-cuff commentary.
Okay, and then did our council, and anybody can answer this question, did the previous council submit anything during the public comment portion? Other than just saying like it's ABAG and there's nothing we can do, there's, the numbers are there and do we do anything as a city?
The city doesn't have representation on ABAG. We pay them dues, but the city itself has no representation at ABAG. So, as you remember, former Councilmember Pierce was been a long-term member of ABAG, or not member is the wrong word. Delegate to ABAG is probably the more correct thing to say. And she tried to represent that as best she could, I think, in that regard. But her delegate status was as a result of being appointed by the Mayor's Conference and other various regional bodies, but not by the city itself.
Okay, so then just so I'm clear, then our purpose or goal then for submitting a letter that's similar to the one that you drafted is just to show, show more numbers within our ABAG region, that there's support for this within the local cities. And are you wedded to this language that's in the letter, or you just wanting buy-in to say, can our council send a letter?
Yeah, I drafted it. Like I said, there was a template that the group had already written, and so I tweaked it for ours a little bit. If you have or anyone has a preference, then you know what, that's the point, really. It doesn't have to be exactly like this, but the general message is your methodology sucks. look, here's the evidence. That's it.
Okay, thanks.
Peter, you have anything?
I do. Hold up for a second while I get my screen back. So I mentioned in my last conversation that the Southern California Association of Governments, or SCAG, is a very large organization. They were asked to distribute 1.34 million housing units among their members. And ABAG, which is our group, which we belong to, only had 414,000, so significantly less, like a third less than SCAG. So you can imagine that
441.
You can imagine how upset Southern California was regarding the numbers they were provided by HCD. And in response to that, all the mayors of Orange County, 34 mayors, signed a letter, sent it directly to SCAG, asking for the RENA litigation study team to get together to discuss the numbers. They did that. The SCAG litigation team got together, and their determination in early November was that the litigation against state HCD was not a path to pursue, and that other options could be pursued, but it's not going to be through SCAG's litigation team. So I guess the reason I'm bringing this up is that, yeah, there's a lot of people that are very, very angry about the numbers, and this Fannie Mae and Embarcadero Institute numbers have been cited as the reason they're angry. But I am not seeing any concrete evidence that the needle is budging at all. And the reason I can say that is I've reviewed letters written by Palo Alto, Irvine, Beverly Hills, Cupertino, Redondo Beach, and others. And Jim, if you can show me any evidence that somebody has budged the needle and changed their allocation based on legal challenges to their numbers, I'd love to see it, because I can't find that evidence. Now,
I have it. I will send it out once I get it printed out. By the way, back to the
Jim, I got the part. I'll finish, and you can talk afterwards. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. It's important for us to know that the numbers are disturbing, and we're all affected by this. And yes, Jeff, I don't mind putting out this letter and asking HCD to reevaluate their calculations. I understand that it's challenging based on the way that's being presented by both Embarcadero Institute and Fannie Mae. But quite frankly, I don't think ABAG or our local mayors conferences really have any business seeing this letter. And I'll say this for this reason. The Mayor's Conference, I know, represented Contra Costa County very solidly, trying to get another methodology put together so that we had lower numbers. They were advocating on our behalf, and our own Julie Pierce was part of that. So putting a thumb in our own Mayor's Conference eyes is not what I want to do. ABAG is nine counties, 101 cities, and we got shafted by San Francisco and Santa Clara counties, which caused the higher number distribution. So I don't mind giving it to the other counties, but ABAG itself is not a bad representation on our behalf, and specifically the Contra Costa counties. Where we should be actually working this is face-to-face meeting and being involved, and I disagree with you on that point. So I'll leave it right there.
Jim, do you want
to? I think you may have misinterpreted. I have no intent of putting a thumb in the eye of the mayor's conference. I think informing them of our action to garner support rather than say they did something wrong. I don't think that we're going to lead the charge, but I do think that it's beneficial to make sure that it's known that we're supportive of efforts to reevaluate the methodology. That's really the extent. They're a regional group that we're a part of, so including them saying, hey, we're also sending this letter, here it is, if you'd like to look at it, you could see our position. It has nothing to do with the mayor's conference. It's really just a FYI for them.
So then I'll let Jim go ahead, and then I'll jump back in.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say then perhaps a suggestion would be to CC ABAG as opposed to addressing it to them, which is done in this sample letter. Otherwise, that's what it looks like. It looks like you're directing it to HCD and ABAG as if ABAG had done something wrong. So that's to Peter's point. Go ahead, Jim. Sorry.
Jim, do you have something?
Yeah, well, I was going to say, back to the mayor's conference, yes, they are just one voice, but there's a loud drumbeat beat by the newly elected mayor of San Ramon. And I don't know if he was serious or not, but he was suggesting that all the mayors and their cities in Contra Costa County stop paying their ABAG dues because it was his opinion that ABAG was not listening to them and hearing their opinion. So I would agree. Maybe we ought to direct the letter to Housing and Community Development with a CC to ABAG.
Anybody else have anything for yes?
One more thing since I'm talking is the only other thing that I go back to when I asked if Councilmember Juan was wedded to the letter is just to, I get that people are passionate about it, but I would soften the language in this letter a lot. It comes across as very angry and curt.
Good, perfect, mission accomplished.
It does, and I think that you can get more bees with honey if you soften this, which would be.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think we're going to get any bees. I think it's mostly a symbolic gesture because they don't give a shit what we think about. So I would be as direct as possible. I don't think it's really fruitful to beat around the bush when you could just be very clear. Their methodology is bad. They clearly made mistakes, and they should fix them.
I don't disagree.
We have no ability to force them, and it's not like they care what we think anyways. So I would just take a stand and put it out there as clear as you can.
I don't disagree with all of that. However, and I'm not saying we have to ask or beg, but...
Well, what would you like to change?
For example, just the verbiage that's used in here. I don't see a fatal flaw. There isn't a fatal flaw. It might be fundamentally flawed, but it's not fatal. For example, I could go through each paragraph, but I won't for sake of time. But we just need to wordsmith the letter better before we send it out as a council is all I'm saying.
Sure, I'll take suggestions for sure, and whatever the majority is comfortable with is fine. I think double counting to the effect I'm an accountant. If you double count something, you've done it wrong. Like you just send it back, and you've made like fundamental errors that cannot go forward. They've done that. So whether it's fatal or fundamental, if a first-year student or first-year accountant gave me that work paper, that I would just turn it around and say, do it again. So whether it's fundamental or fatal, I don't really think it doesn't really matter to me. If you want to wordsmith it, I'm open to it. But like ultimately at the end of the day, what they did was bad. That's the main point is what they did is bad. And we need to tell them what they did was bad and they should do it again.
But let me ask how we determine that what the flaws are, what are identified here are actually flaws. I mean, we go by the methodology that you're putting in this letter, and the studies you're putting in this letter. Who's to say those aren't flawed? And judging by,
did you read it?
Just one more quick question. Judging by the SB 828 was reviewed and reviewed and reviewed since 2017, and it's been held up. So I'm just wondering where the premise is that, and again, I'm not against the overall message. I don't want Clayton to be seen as either a NIMBY or a YIMBY city. I don't want to walk into an ABAG meeting or a mayor's conference and go, oh, here comes Clayton. We know where they're at. I would rather not telegraph that information. But we need to stand up when we need to stand up. My question starts with the premise that we're going by as being that this methodology you're putting forward here is the correct way to go. Is pointing out fatal flaws, and I agree with Holly. I'm not sure these are fatal. I mean, the fact that the numbers have been reviewed and held up.
What do you mean when you say held up?
Well, they've been restudied over and re-legislated, if you will, since 2017 when this was introduced. And so...
Well, sure. I mean, the legislature can put out a number that makes no sense. I mean, that's legal. They can say you have to build a zillion units. They can do that. That's within their power. The law doesn't need to make sense. It just needs to be legal. So the fact that it's been held up legally is no commentary on the accuracy of the information. They could literally say that you need to build 1 billion units, and that would be held up.
But are we?
So,
are we fighting a windmill then? I mean, when you say it,
yeah, it's California. It's all a windmill.
But they don't care about what we think and what we do. Why are we doing this at all? What are we standing up for? And I guess the other question is with the Cali, I guess you called it, was the name of the organization, as small as they are. Why are we not sending this out as a group of cities standing up in one voice with the mayors of all the cities or the city managers, whatever it is, signing this letter all as one voice?
Well, that's part of it. This, like I told you, like I mentioned earlier, the language here, the fatal flaw language, is directly from the template that they advanced. So we can change it to suit our needs, which is fine. I mean, that's at our discretion.
Again, but why are we not banding together as one letter? I know we've talked about this in the past, getting various cities together, and I think we did that last year where we did Orinda and Lafayette and whatever. We all signed a letter that went out to all of those places. So why are we doing this as little Clayton? I know we need to stand up, but why are we not standing up with others?
I think it's because there's not a lot of faith that whole cities or councils agree.
Wait, say that last part again, please, Jeff.
There's not a lot of faith that there's agreement within councils. Like even in the city of Lafayette or these other places that are leading, that are taking leadership roles within this, they don't have 100% buy-in in their councils. It's a question of whether they can even get their councils to agree to send a letter at all, because they want to soften it, or they're afraid to stand out, or they want to work within the system, or for whatever reason.
Well, what I'm hearing here is, at least by the majority of what's been said here, that's the direction this council wants to go.
Yes, let's vote on it.
So when you're saying that other cities are having trouble passing this or getting this out there, or getting a letter, again, my question remains, why do this if no one's going to pay attention to us?
Well, I think it's important to stand on principle. So, I mean, that's me. If you disagree, that's fine. That's your prerogative.
Well, I'm just trying to get a handle on whether or not we're actually just running uphill for no reason. I mean, again, I would like to maintain relationships that are solid, that have been built on. As a new mayor, it's going to be very difficult to try to build on relationships that Julie made when she was here. Only have a year, and then the new mayor will take over from there. We need to keep building on these relationships. Here's what I don't want to do. I don't want to soften the language to the point where it's banal. Okay, it's vanilla. But on the other hand, I don't want this to wind up in the circular file just as soon as it comes through. I don't want Clayton to be seen as, oh well, here they come again with their objections. I want to stand up when it makes sense to do so, and I would love to stand up with other cities on this.
Well, that's great.
I guess we can go to a public comment. Nobody else has anything. We'll bring it back to council after. Do we have anybody for a public comment?
Mayor Wolf, we have someone by the name of DP and then Dan Hummer. So I'll unmute DP first. Okay, DP, you're unmuted and you're able to start speaking.
Hello? DP, are you there? Bless you, Matthew. DP, are you there? Do we need to move on and come back to DP, or do we have him or her? They went back to mute.
DP appears to be muted. Nope,
On and off,
they
on and off.
Nope.
Yeah.
Now they're muted again.
I know, it's
whoever
flashing.
DP is. Now, unmuted. DP is on the air.
Technology. Janet, do you have any idea what might be going on? Excuse me.
I don't. On my end, I show that DP is unmuted, so I'm not sure what's going on.
Why don't we try and circle back? Do we have someone else right now, and then we'll circle back to DP?
Yes, we have Dan Hummer, followed by Jenny Yee, and then Howard Geller.
Okay. We'll wait for Dan Hummer then. There he is. He's muted. Dan, you're muted. There you go. Up, back on and off again. There you go.
Hello, can everybody hear me?
There you are. Happy New Year.
Sorry, I pressed unmute, and then I went to unmute and went back to mute without me touching anything. So anyways, good evening, everyone, and thanks for listening to my comments. I really appreciate Mr. Councilmember Juan bringing this up, and realistically, I would like the council to go ahead and as a city, go ahead and write this letter. I know that Councilmember Tillman said that we should wordsmith that some more, and I think that would be a good idea. It maybe doesn't have to be super aggressive or anything like that, and I agree with Mayor Wolf in regards to you want to stand up when it really counts and everything like that, but realistically, if this is wrong, you have to, if you see something, you have to say something, and if nobody says anything, then nobody's going to do it, nothing's going to be done about it. So I would really urge, I would really appreciate it if everybody would do this. I think that is the right thing, as one of our things. It's, if you see, if you see something wrong, you got to say something. Let's correct it. And realistically, if you're looking at it, it could potentially be fatal. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on, and this could end up forcing other types of laws being ensued by Senator Wiener, where he's greasing the skids for higher development more and more, where it's harder and harder for people like yourselves on the city council and Mr. Fesky and everybody to basically keep local control. That's what they want. They want control. They don't want local control anymore. So if he's putting out the wrong information, that needs to be stopped. And if as far as the litigation that Mr. Juan indicated, if that's against Mr. Wiener, then there should be litigation against him because this affects a lot of people. And I urge you to all work together. We have a nice council, and let's get a nice something crafted together, and hopefully we can get other cities to do the same thing. And let's send a message. And I don't think that's standing up at the wrong time, Mayor Wolf. I think this is a big thing. This is affecting everybody. This is one of the number one topics for us, right? This is high density housing, and how are we going to conform and everything. So this is the time to stand up, and I don't think this is actually setting the precedence for us to basically say, oh, here comes Mayor Wolf, and I know where he stands on high density. Well, I don't think that is necessarily a bad thing. If you walk in and they already know where you're standing, why not? If you have right is right, that's where we should be. And I appreciate your time, and have a good evening.
You too. Happy New Year. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Okay. And did we get DP back by any chance? No.
Yes, I do have DP. I'll try DP, and then I'll go to Jenny Yee.
Okay, appreciate it.
All right, I show DP unmuted.
Perhaps we could have DP call, Janet, if you can say the phone number, and then they could just call you like a regular old phone call, and you could pipe it through. That would be my suggestion.
Sure. DP, the number to call is 925-673-7304.
Gladys, get me the city council. Okay. All right, so we'll get back to DP. Janet, who's next? Jenny, I believe you said, right?
That is correct. I'm going to move Jenny right now. And Jenny, you're on.
Hello, it's me again. I hope you guys are not too tired of me yet, because I'm pretty sure that I will come here a lot.
Okay, Jenny, your time's up.
No,
I'm kidding. Go ahead, keep going.
Okay. I want to be clear that I'm not here just to make a comment every time when you have the meeting. I would like to request the city attorney to further look into the two ordinances that she said it's in compliant with the state law, but they are not. I do not want my voice not being heard. So if I can have her comment today, that would be greatly appreciated.
Okay, you're talking about the housing, the letter that we're talking about now?
The cannabis.
Okay, we're not on that right now.
We're not?
No, we're taking public comment now with regard to our action item here to discuss this letter to.
That. I thought it's that kind of public comment. Okay, I'm sorry.
Public comment. That was before.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm new to the council, so that's okay. I'll get used to it.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Mayor, I have Denise Persh on the line, so I'm going to put her on.
That sounds like DP.
Yes, it is. Hold on just and I'm going to.
Okay.
Okay, Denise, you're on.
All right. Thank you so much. Sorry about all that. I don't know why my phone doesn't like the Zoom call, and the microphone never works. The reason why I'm calling is because I fully support the efforts that, Jeff is making toward, talking with ADAD. I think that, send a letter, stop paying the dues, and be direct with ADAD. They are not the king. They do not direct Clayton or our town in what we should do. And I guess the best thing to perhaps do is to provide you all 3 videos from experts that discuss sustainable development and the goals that the United Nations has for land development and property use. And one video is from Rosa Corey, who used to be he was the expert legal team on the San Francisco Transportation Department. And she's going to discuss in about 20 minutes of a video, and I would really encourage any of our citizens as well as anyone on our city council to review that and to listen to what she says, because she's going to tell you what their plan is. And it's not good, because the plan of sustainable development is to remove representative government. You see, that's why you all think that ABAG gets to tell you what to do and when to do it and how to do it. And instead, we are, within the United States, we have rights. We have rights to property and we have rights to local control. And so I would say be direct, because that's what we need to do. I'm also going to send you another video by Catherine Austin Fitz, and it's a full interview. In 1 week, she has 140,000 views on YouTube. What she tells you in this video, she's the former Assistant Secretary for Housing. What she tells you about what is going on with these committees who are, or boards, who are trying to usurp our rightful place as the owners of our own life, as the rightful owners of organization of our town, and how what we see our town is being usurped, those rights are being usurped by the unelected board. ABAG is not elected by me. I didn't elect them. You didn't elect them. They were appointed, and therefore they do not represent the people of our town. So I'm going to send that to you guys because I think there's some question about the relationship that you as our representatives have in representing the people of your town. Your oath says that you will defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And, well, I would put ABAG in that enemy category. They are trying to usurp our rights and to, transpose us into a different type of government. And instead of having a serving government, they want the government to be the, kings, queens, dukes, and duchesses over the people, and we cannot have that. So we must take a stand.
Thank you.
And we must confront and direct. And so, good job, Jeff. I love that letter. So that's all I have to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right. Okay. Do we have anybody else in the queue?
We do. Our next speaker is Howard Geller.
Happy New Year, Howard. You there?
I'm here, Clayton City Council. This is Howard Keller, past mayor of Clayton twice and a member of the City Council for 8 years. Have to take a little responsibility for some of the ABAG numbers that were, approved and accepted back in 2008 and 2012. And we need to understand something and get clarity that numbers are just numbers and, wish list of what they would like us to develop. We only have so much undeveloped land. And when they come, they say, okay, well, we could do an 8-plex on that and a 12-plex on that. The bottom line to it all comes down that unless people are willing to develop their land, it never gets developed and the numbers never get achieved. Unless people are willing to take an acre of land that they have a zone for a single family house and develop for, a 12-plex, it's going to be a single family house. So the ABAG numbers are that. I do want to agree with CW about the mayor's conference and just clarify what the mayor's conference was all about. The mayor's conference was the mayors getting together from all these cities to create unity and power so that they could go up against ABAG or they can go up against the state as a unified county of mayors that had a lot more power than the city of Clayton, the city of Concord, the city of Lafayette alone. So it's prudent that we use that facility as the mayor's conference to write a letter representing the county, and then talking about writing the letter, it's okay that any city councilman wants to write a letter, but in reality, the letter and the verbiage needs to be approved before it sends out as representative of the city and the city council by the city council, whether it's a majority or 100% unanimous, rule. And that letter also should be read and approved by our legal counsel and city manager to make sure everybody is on the same page. You guys got a lot to do in the year that's coming and a very difficult path to do it with COVID. And I wish everyone a happy new year and please stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Howard. Happy New Year to you too. Janet?
Mayor Wolf, I don't have any other speakers at this time.
Okay, so we'll close the comment and bring it back to council. Any other comments, questions?
Together? What?
You can still hear Howard. Howard's having dinner now. Does anybody on the council have any questions or comments, or we need to give direction to staff?
Yeah, as I was saying earlier, if you have suggestions to language, let's do that. I'm open to it. This is my pass.
Peter?
I'm good to send it as is. If you want to make changes, let's do it.
I do not have a challenge with asking HCD to review their numbers based on the Embarcadero Institute and the Fannie Mae numbers. there's enough in there that it's a legitimate request to ask them to review their numbers. And I don't think the letter that you wrote, Jeff, is egregious where we're saying we're not willing to do our share. We're just asking them to review the numbers. So in general, I'm okay with the letter, and just thought I'd throw that out there.
Sure. ABAC could be a CC. That's fine with me.
But I definitely do not want to include the mayor's conference for the reasons that Howard just said. In my experience of listening to the mayor's conference, we're definitely all in this game together, and we're trying to work as a team against what the state is putting upon us, and that is true.
Well, I think, yeah, the avenue through the mayor's conference, in my view, would be to ask them to join us. Like, hey, this is what we're doing. Like, do you guys want to get together as a region and do the same thing? Like, let's collaborate and do it together. Speak as one voice, as Howard said. I think that's good. If not, that's okay too. So either way, it's fine.
I haven't met the mayor from San Ramon. I haven't talked to the people from Lafayette yet, but it sounds like there's some energy along those lines as well. So, I mean, there's the conversations that we need to have. And what I've heard is that we need to be a collaborative effort with our colleagues, especially our local colleagues, to fight against the loss of local control. And I'm all for that.
And there's a mayor's conference coming up on Thursday, if you all want to attend. Holly, Jim, anybody else have any?
No, I would support the concept of the letter. If it needs some wordsmithing, then I'm open to that. And if people don't think that fatal is the right word and it should be fundamentally or whatever, I no problem with that. I think that we need to make a statement, and this sounds like it's a first good step.
Holly, anything?
Yes, as soon as I can figure out the buttons. Yeah, so are we going to edit the letter now? Is that what we're trying to do? I'm totally fine doing that. Otherwise, if we're trying to take this offline and do it at another meeting, but it sounds like, given the timeline, it's something that we need to try to take care of sooner rather than later. So if so, I'm happy to throw out the couple of words I'd like to change. All right. Sure. So I would like fatally to be fundamentally. And then on the second page, actually go back to the first paragraph. Unfortunately, I guess I'm okay with keeping it. It seems as if the first paragraph are all of our words. However, we're basing it off of the 2 studies that were done. I'm fine if we keep it the way that it is, unless we want to acknowledge those 2 studies in that paragraph. For example, unfortunately, through double counting and significant oversight, this figure was based on was fatally flawed. Actually, at the end of that, should be reconsidered. It's too sloppy to do it that way. Never mind. Just leave it as it is. The only other
I mean, the intent was to present in the first paragraph, essentially lead with a conclusion, and then the second paragraph identifies the source. So that's
fine. Yeah, especially because I was going to fix it, but it comes right after that, so it's okay. But all the references to addressing it to ABAG / HCD in the letter, I'd like to fix. So let's see. Little by region. So now we're on the second page. Okay, so the second paragraph on the second page, the sentence that begins, know the flaws of the state HCD. My preference would be to begin that sentence with instead, the flaws of the state HCD warrant a challenge. Is that okay if we change no to instead? Second paragraph, last sentence.
Fine, I think.
So instead, the flaws of the state HCD warrant the challenge to the total allocation for ABAG?
Correct.
So you just want to change no to instead?
Correct. Otherwise, to me, I'm trying to, soften isn't the word I'm trying to use. It just sounds, like I said, as if somebody was angry when they wrote it, and I'm just trying to fix a couple of the words. So I would like the word to be instead there. And then the third paragraph, when it's done, Not that far. A-bags. Yep. Okay, so fourth paragraph down. Last sentence, middle of the sentence, is critical for ABAG/state HCD to review and determine appropriate actions. That's where I would like it to be. Do we want them to do this together, or are we just putting HCD to review it? How does that process work? Is this something they review together?
Well, I think it's primarily HCD because ABAG takes they're downstream from HCD. So, I mean, if you just strike the ABAG piece there, that's fine.
Okay.
Doesn't really change much.
No, but since we're going to add them as a CC now, that's all, I'm just trying to fix that so that we can be done with the letter tonight.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's critical for stage. It does seek ABAGs.
Yeah, you could strike that ABAG reference. You could strike that ABAG reference there if you want to.
Yep. And issue a statement of correction. Is a statement of correction really what we're requesting for them to do? Or are we asking them to reallocate the numbers?
Well, ultimately, the total number, the denominator essentially, is what needs to be adjusted. So I don't think that there's a strong precedent for them doing that. So statement of correction is really a term of art. So I mean, we could call it whatever we want. They don't really do that. They haven't done that. So we're asking them to do something that they haven't traditionally done. So we could say like a do-over or a mulligan, but it's a statement of correction is, it's whatever we want it to be. A mulligan probably wouldn't go over so well.
No, so
Malarkey.
With us seek ABAG's housing number and the framework report and issue statement correction.
Now, what could you change that to?
Revise the numbers.
Reassess the numbers accordingly.
Revise.
I don't mind the issue of statement of correction, but I think there needs to be another word after that to tell them what we're asking them to do.
So revise the numbers accordingly.
Sure.
That's fine.
That works.
That's fine.
I mean, if we're going to try to ask them to do something, let's ask them to do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay. And then we're signing this.
And then we could strike the ABAG component at the top in the address section and just put a CC, I think, as well. And then I didn't know where you fell on CCing the mayor's conference to just inform them of what we're doing. I don't know, Peter, if you were opposed to that. I mean, they could see it. It's fine. I mean, it's not like to them. It's just, hey, we're doing this.
Let's have a conversation. I think the mayor's conference is on our side for the most part, and that's.
Oh no, they are. So let's like
okay,
that. Yeah, the idea is that like let's do it together.
Can I jump in here, Peter?
Sure, please.
All right. I don't see a problem with CCing the mayor's conference on this. I think that the knowledge is important for them to know where we're coming from. It may actually be a thought starter, something I can have a conversation with the mayor of San Ramon or whoever. Because, again, I would love this to be just something that isn't going to be tossed. If we're going to do this, I would love to have other cities involved in this going forward on other things where we can all stand up together. So I think if we're going to CC ABAG, I don't see a problem with CCing the mayor's conference.
Yeah, I guess I see as best case scenario is it's a catalyst for future discussion.
That's what I would hope. If this doesn't get anywhere, at least maybe it's a thought starter or a conversation starter with other cities, other organizations, whatever. So that's where my head is at. Anybody
Okay.
else?
I'm good. I'm good with that.
I'm fine CCing the mayor's conference. The only other request that I would have before this is sent out, et cetera, is when we attach the 2 copies of the reports. I noticed that the report from the Embarcadero Institute, the very first page that was in the attachment that we got, didn't have the footnote that showed that it was from them. So even as I was reading it, I didn't know if Joe Schmo had written this until I got to the very last page to see the footnotes. And
Yeah,
when I
this
went
is
to
the
their,
attachment, right?
sorry?
It's just the attachment. It was excerpted from a larger.
I understand. But when you go to their website, that actual PDF, or when you go, the PDF has the very first page has the footnote that says it's from the Embarcadero Institute. And the lady that's the president of it, or whatever her title is, she authored it. So I would rather attach that one so that people realize that that's the full exact report, as opposed to the one that was attached for us.
Sounds good to me.
That's all I have.
Anybody else?
Well,
Okay, so we need to give, yes, Holly?
One more, sorry. The second paragraph, second page, second sentence starts with this year. It's now January, so it's last year.
yeah, we could say released in 2020.
Perfect.
All right. Have we had our full conversation? Pardon me?
I'm good with all of those edits. So if we need a motion, I would move that we approve sending of the letter with the edits as discussed.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. So we have Councilmember 1 is first and Councilmember Diaz is a second. Janet?
Councilmember Diaz,
Yes.
Councilmember Tillman,
Yes.
Councilmember 1,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Clayton,
Yes.
and Mayor Wolf.
Looks like it's unanimous. There you go, Jeff. You win.
We all win. Thank you.
We may.
We all win.
We may.
Or we all lose. Well,
But at least we're unanimous.
I would
Yeah.
seriously recommend a reach out to Mr. Hudson over there in San Ramon, because he's very vocal on this.
Okay. All right. So we're done with that one now. So we're good. Raina, you got everything you need on that, right? Okay. So let's move on to item B, 8B, which is the housing legislation and impact of the city report to Community Development Director. Once again, Matt, you're the show starter.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and City Council. This item before you was brought forward per a council member's request to explore options as to how to inform the council and the public on the new housing laws that are going to be affecting us in 2021 and the direct effects to Clayton itself. This is a good first step in the process of evaluating our housing element update. In the staff report, we discussed some of the options that staff felt was appropriate for consideration by the council. And at this time, staff is asking that council receive the report, take public input, and provide direction as to the next step.
Okay. So Peter, this is your baby, so you can take it from here.
Excellent. So I've been aware of the dozens of Assembly and Senate bills that have passed regarding housing in the past couple of years through the state of California. And if you look at some of the analysts, as we've been talking about relative to Jeff's letter, some will even say that 2020 was dismal as is related to the housing reduction legislation. And more and more and more legislation is coming. And the reason why I brought this up is I want to know how the most recent legislation impacts us in Clayton. Now, my original request was to staff to provide a forum for both the council and the public to understand these changes that are happening, and how those changes impact Clayton's ability to control local land use. And we need to figure out what we can do as a city council relative to zoning, either upzoning or downzoning. And I felt this was a really useful tool right now for our community and our council, because we're looking at community conversations in this charrette process relative to the downtown parcel. We're also looking at the possible changes to the downtown specific plan. We're looking at the planning of our housing element in the next couple of years and the RENA numbers that are going to be given to us by ABAG. And we've recently had conversations relative to possible upzone and downzone of properties close to our downtown area. Now, when I brought this up on December 1st, it was my first time ever bringing something up for an action item. So I'm new to what I was planning to do, and I didn't consider the possibility of hiring an outside consultant for expertise related to that review. I'm pretty much a fiscal conservative, and to me, what it means is I don't want to spend money if we don't have to. I would rather save our LEAP grants for what we had already designated their use for, which is to help us with the housing element. In my conversations with staff this morning, I was made aware of some resources that were available by ABAG and MTC and through the California League of Cities that may help us do what I asked, that are free resources. And the staff showed me some links. I said, hey, awesome. So I like the idea of staff reviewing these available free resources and see what other resources may exist that can help us do what I've been trying to do. And I prefer the staff use those resources first and use that assistant first rather than hiring a third-party consultant. So since this is my request, I would ask that we table this discussion for right now and give staff the time that they need to evaluate what those resources are through our local bodies that we belong to, which is ABAG, MTC, and the League of Cities, and come back to us with suggestions of how to use those resources that can fit the bill for what I requested. Now, I'm going to be very specific in what I requested. I don't think I was as specific as I needed to be in my first request. I am specifically asking staff to address two things. One, I want a high-level summary of a current downtown zoning and any impacts of revising any zoning in that area. And this is especially important because we're looking at future council conversations regarding zoning, upzoning, and downzoning properties. And we need to have an understanding of that relative to this, as well as a future development in downtown area, the charrette process, and possibly revising a downtown specific plan. I also want a much larger picture of a comprehensive report regarding housing and zoning laws and their impacts on Clayton relative to the coming housing element, which we'll be talking about in the next couple of years. I want all this to be done in a public setting. I don't want it in the back room. My intention all along is that the citizens of Clayton be involved in any process that we have. So this has all got to be public. And I am trusting the staff to look at the resources that are available through our local agency bodies that we're a part of and come back with another recommendation at a future date. I'm done.
Okay, thank you, Peter. Council? Questions? Yes, Council Member One.
So I would just say, just to clarify, typically we don't direct staff to take any action. Raina can direct staff if she wants, but for us, we can ask collectively as one body to set goals for staff. So I would say if having conversations with Matt, if that's the interest, I think that he could probably help out in those areas, given if he could sequence that in. But I did want to comment, BBK, as Mal is very familiar with, they publish a great deal of information about housing law, updates to housing law each year. I just did housing law update BBK, and there's a whole slug of information about everything in 2020. You can go back to the 2019 stuff and all the new stuff. So there's essentially, depending on your interest area, there's a lot of resources. I find the BBK writings are pretty good primers, and they always link to the actual laws. So if that's your fancy, you can read legislative history all day long. It's not that exciting. I've done it a little bit, but that's what the lawyers do. So I would say that there are a lot of resources available. And I'm sure Mala could point us to leverage the work that's already been done, so we don't have to recreate the wheel there, especially for staff time, because I know that there are staff time constraints as well. So I would just be circumspect in asking them to do research where experts have essentially done it on our behalf already. And the league, like you identified, the league does publish a lot of information. Did they actually change their name to Cal Cities?
They have rebranded to Cal Cities.
But on their website, it still lists League of California Cities as the masthead.
They are in the process of updating their website, as I understand it. They were planning to launch that this month.
It's a poor showing. They changed their URL and their DNS, but they did not change their masthead. All right. Well, anyways, they put out a lot of information. The law firms do a ton as well. There's a bunch that specialize in public policy law, like BBK, and so there are resources that way. And so yeah, that was it. I just wanted to share. There's you could probably find a bunch, and I read pretty much all day, so there's tons.
It is overwhelming. Jeff, I agree. I've been reading a lot of legal documents regarding the most recent housing legislation that's been passed. I just don't think that we need to hire somebody at this point when there might be other free resources out there. And that's all I'm asking staff to do, is to find out resources exist so that we don't have to hire an outside consultant and waste money. I'm
with you there. I'm with you there.
How do we collate this information, make it simple for those of us who are not attorneys and for our citizens to understand?
Well, like I said, if you do a search, like I don't know if Google has they're tracking me, so they give me my tailored results. But I searched for BBK CA housing law. It's the first hit. Housing law is amended by 2020 bills. And you can go down the list, or you could do a site-specific search on BBK, and they have like a ton of articles. I couldn't find one specifically authored by Mala. I was trying to, just for funsies.
I haven't authored. That's why you're not finding one.
But Mala's would probably be in plain language.
I know. I looked. Even before I'd read the articles authored by some of Tia's colleagues at her law firm. They do a ton of work there in this space as well. All the lawyers like to write these articles. They get to put it on their resumes, so you get to read all their writings, and it's out there. They usually have links to the actual stuff and analysis, and if you read like 4 pieces on the same legislation, you get a pretty good gist of it. So how they all mesh together, though, is it's sometimes complex. So that's when we look to Mala.
Yeah, not only all the time complex. Raina, were you going to say something?
I was. A couple of things. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. First, I took Vice Mayor Cloven's direction to staff to be directing the city manager, so I'll just take that as what he meant, and Jeff's point is well taken. The council will provide direction to the manager, and we will move forward operationally from there, so I appreciate that. Secondly, I believe that our goal as staff, myself and staff, would be to bring back to the council a summarized version and some specific resources to help bring that information together. And that's really the piece that we would be relying on, whether it's Cal Cities or ABAG or others who are in this space, who spend a lot more time just in that space and not on a wide variety of city issues. But I would take that as direction for us to be able to bring back a summary with some key resources for the council and the community on the topics that have been requested.
So we have no action to take then at this point.
No, and that's what I'm basically requesting is that we table this until the staff at our city manager's direction is able to come back with something a little more concrete based on the resources that are available out there publicly.
Okay. Do we need any public comment on this since it's been tabled?
Yes, Mayor
do.
Wolf, if there is
Do we have any hands,
public
Janet?
comment.
Anybody in the public want to comment on this?
Mayor Wolf, I do not have any hands raised.
What a surprise. All right, thank you. We'll close the public comment on that, and I guess we're just done with this issue, right? For now.
Direction has been received.
Received.
Do you need a motion to put something on the table? Typically you do, but that's fine either way.
Do we need a motion to put something on the table later? Or?
We can, just so that we have clarity for the record. I think we had a consensus, but we can also have a motion to bring this back at a future date as the city manager.
All right, Peter Cloven has moved and second. And Councilmember Juan seconds. Janet?
Councilmember Diaz?
Yes.
Councilmember Tillman?
Yes.
Councilmember Juan?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Cloven?
Yes.
Mayor Wolf?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Okay. So moving on now to item 9, and that's the council items for future directives for meetings. Anybody have anything, council? Yes, Councilmember Tillman.
I have a couple of things. Mayor Wolf, I'd like to have a request that we bring to the next meeting if possible, or at least the first one in February. I'd like to have Black History Month honored by proclamation in Clayton in the month of February. And I'd also like to request a list of the cultural heritage months and significant days for 2021 via proclamation. So I can either just see a list of what we've done in the past to go from there to see which ones have not been done. But I would like to bring that up at a future meeting if possible to be on the agenda to discuss. And then I would also like to request for a future agenda item issue is if we can discuss adding closed captioning to our Zoom meetings, closed captioning. We've had some requests from hearing impaired residents so that they can be more fully engaged in the meetings. And so if we can have a discussion about that as a council, that'd be great.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. So seeing none, we're done with that. Closed session, we have none. And so this particular meeting is adjourned until our next meeting will be on January the 19th, 2021. And we are going to go now into the Clayton Successor and Successor Housing Agencies meeting. So we'll call that to order, January 5th, 2021. First item here is the consent calendar. Anybody have anything to pull from that? Do we have a motion to accept it? Okay, I guess.
I move acceptance.
Okay, thank you.
I'll second.
Okay, there we go. One first and Diaz the second. And Janet?
Board Member Diaz?
Yo, yes.
Board Member Juan?
Yes.
Board Member Wolf?
Yes.
Vice Chair Cloven?
Yes.
And Chair Tillman. And I'm sorry if I messed up the titles in there.
Yes.
Thank you.
I mean, we're going to accept this regardless, but just for my own edification, when is the ROP scheduled to be done? I thought it was pretty soon, right? Is it either next year or the year after? Do we know that? It was. I read the schedule before, but I forgot.
I believe it's 2023.
Is it 23?
Okay, so 2 years.
Oh.
June 20.
I'm just curious because I would like to never talk about this again.
No, I think it extends beyond. So this current ROP cycle is through 2022. I believe our ROPS ends between 23 and 25. I don't have the date in front of me, but at least one more time, it will come back for your review and approval.
All right. Thanks.
Okay. And just Janet, just to clarify, who's the chairperson of this?
Actually, it's Chair Wolf and Vice Chair Float. That's where the mistake was made. I apologize.
All right. We just want to be sure that I'm still running the meeting. Okay, good. So now we'll move on to public comment. Right? Can we get that right? Oh yeah, public comment on non-agenda items here. Anyone in the public want to speak on this? Non-agenda items here. 3 minutes.
And Chair Wolf, I'm sorry.
It's been a long year, Jen. It's a long year.
Sorry.
Nothing? Nobody? Okay. All right, we'll close public comment. We have no public hearings or action items. Any limited requests for future meetings from the board? Seeing none. Okay, that's it for the Clayton Successor and Successor Housing Agencies. We are adjourned until the next meeting as needed. That is all for tonight, folks. Thank you for joining us, and Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Thank you.